Hi everybody, the Water Magister here. Today I wanted to talk about an awesome meditation called the eye stare meditation. So I'm sure you guys are familiar when we were kids that we would have these eye stare competitions and we just look at each other and it would be fun and silly. Ever since I started the spiritual practice and meditating and going within myself, I learned about this particular meditation through one of my gurus, I guess you can call him. His name is Kevin Walton. He owns this community he created this community called the Light Beings Community, part of his core group. And we learn different methods on supporting other people with their stories that they're going through. And this is a very awesome meditation that you can do on your own, but it's also preferred if you can do it with a partner, someone who maybe is a friend, who is like your lover or your partner. It's also amazing to do with someone that you don't even know. So if you want to do it by yourself right now, what I would recommend is get yourself a mirror. You can pause the video, and go in front of a mirror and bring your laptop or whatever you're listening to this on next to you and just listen to my voice. You don't have to actually watch the video itself. So when you have that, I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about it. So this exercise, it's healing, very healing. It allows you to be vulnerable, and vulnerability is the key to understanding who you really are. Vulnerability is actually a strength, it's not a weakness. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you allow space for others to then be vulnerable as well, so that they can begin healing aspects of themselves that they normally would not. Because in today's society, we bottle all these different feelings in, we're afraid to show our feelings, we're afraid to say what we want to say because of fear of what that person outside of ourselves might think. But in reality, the only thing that really matters is what you think about it. Allowing yourself to be vulnerable, allowing yourself to be your authentic self, allowing yourself to be truth and speaking truth out loud. So if you do this by yourself and if you've never really looked at yourself in the mirror and had a conversation with yourself in the mirror, this may be a little difficult in the beginning. But the more and more you start practicing it, the easier and easier it will get. And the same goes with if you practice with a stranger or with a partner. You might notice when you're in conversation with someone, you might tend to look away. Like even now, I tend to look away at different areas because I'm thinking of what exactly the next thing that's going to come up. But for the most part, if you maintain eye contact with someone, you can begin seeing their true self. And you can begin looking through their eyes, because the eyes are the doorway to our souls. So a couple things that may come up is you may feel embarrassed as you're looking at someone in the eye. You may start to laugh. You may look away. You may look away a lot. And then be very mindful when you start this practice of what your mind is telling you. If your mind is telling you, oh, this is stupid, why am I doing this? Be very mindful where that's coming from, because the ego likes to create anything it possibly can from it being discovered, from it being known that it no longer has control over you. Okay? So now that you have the mirror in front of you, and the mirror could literally be another person if you're doing this with another person, I want you to begin first closing your eyes. Okay? So begin closing your eyes down. And if you have the mirror in front of you, keep it in front of you. I would hope that it would be on a wall of some sort, so you can just do this meditation. So begin taking a deep inhale in through the nose. Exhale out. Inhale in. Exhale out. Last one. Deep inhale in. Exhale out. Now just listen to my words. There's a couple other things I want to mention, but begin to let your mind go, focusing on your breath as you're listening to what I'm saying. When you're going to begin going into this meditation and you're going to be looking at yourself or looking at your mirror, meaning your partner or another person, you're going to realize that their face is going to start to change. So choose either the left eye or the right eye. And depending on the eye, their face will change to different things. Okay? So with that knowledge, you're going to go ahead and begin opening your eyes, looking at whatever that mirror represents to you. If it's the actual mirror in the wall, begin looking at that and looking at yourself, looking at either the left eye or the right eye, maintaining your focus and your awareness on your eyes, looking deep into your eyes, being very mindful of your breath. If any thoughts come through, allow them to pass. You don't have to fight them, but just begin focusing on your eyes. Coming from a neutral point, without sending any emotion. The more and more you begin to stare at yourself, the more and more you begin to understand and see your true self. It may be uncomfortable at first, but that's okay. And that's why we're practicing this. When you begin to let go of the mind and what you're labeling, what you're looking at, you may start to see the area around yourself or the area around the thing that you're looking at, the person, the object. It'll start turning into like a cloudy look. It'll start being a little bit cloudy. Maintain your focus and see if you can go past that. And it'll start going even more cloudy. And from that, the face will start to morph. From that, you might start to see your aura in the peripheral vision, or see the person's aura in the peripheral vision. So as you're looking at the person's eyes, use your peripheral and see the outline of their body, or see the outline of your body. You might start to see like the little white cloud or white essence of them. And depending on what emotion they're feeling, that white essence, that white aura will change to different colors. Okay? So now that we're at a neutral state, I want you to begin thinking about something that made you the happiest in your life. Visualize that in your mind as you're staring at the thing in the eye, or yourself in the eye, or the person in the eye. After you feel that feeling of happiness in that moment, begin sending that emotion through your eyes to the other side, like to the other object, or back to yourself through the mirror. Sending love back to yourself, sending that happy moment back to yourself. How beautiful it is. And then you might start to see your face change into something else from this point. Still focusing on the breath. Not allowing any other distraction to take your mind off of what your task at hand is, which is just maintaining eye contact with yourself or your partner. Now I want you to begin thinking about a moment in your life that was a difficult time, a sad time. The reason for this is I want you to be able to feel the differences of energy when you transmute it into a different person, or when you transmute it and send it back to yourself, so you can feel what that feels like. So begin thinking of that moment in your life that brought up sadness, or that brought up some type of anger, and go into that. Feel that, while still looking at yourself in the eye. And then begin sending that feeling through your body, through your eyes, to the other side. And then begin noticing if your face changes to something else. Noticing if the aura changes colors from your peripheral. Do not take your gaze off of the eyes itself. You're only using your peripheral if you want to look at the person's aura. Still focusing on the breath. Okay. Now we're going to go back to that happy moment. You could choose a different happy moment or the previous one. A moment in your life that was the most amazing, joyous occasion. And think about that. Feel that. Feel those sensations in the body coming up of how amazing it was. And then begin sending that over through your eyes. Now, begin going to a neutral state, not thinking about any emotion, not labeling anything. Just maintain eye contact with the object in front of you. Now I'm going to talk a little bit here, so keep maintaining eye contact. Shortly, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. And when I do, I want you to be very mindful of what colors you see behind the darkness of your eyes. You might see shapes, you might see colors, you might see animals. Remember what it is that you see. And as you're visualizing it, you don't have to label anything. You don't have to have your eyes closed and say, oh wow, that's a dolphin, or that's an eagle. Just observe it as if you were watching a movie. Let those images come to you. And once we're done here, once we open our eyes again, I'll let you know what those things mean and how to research that. Okay? So take a deep inhale in through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Begin closing your eyes slowly. Being mindful of what you see behind the eyes, behind the darkness of the eyes. Taking note of the colors, any shapes, any outlines. Take a deep inhale in through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. I'm going to do this 2 more times. Inhale deeply. Exhale out. This next one we're going to hold for 10 seconds. Deep inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Exhale. Breathing normally. And beginning to open your eyes once more. If you want to pause the video now before I get into the different meanings of what it is that you may have seen, do so you can recalibrate yourself and come back into the room. So I'm going to go into the different meanings of what you may have seen. From my own experience, and you could choose to resonate with this or not, it's up to you. And you could base your own experiences off what you feel and see during these meditations. But from my own experience, when you look at yourself, say for instance you were doing the meditation with the mirror in front of you, and you're looking at yourself. When your face changes, those faces are actually different faces of yourself that are living coincidentally with this moment. Because everything happens now. Everything's always happening now. Time is stacked. There's really no such thing as time. So what you're seeing is you're peering through the veil and seeing different versions of yourself and seeing how you actually look in different periods of time, different bodies that you've chosen. So you can take that however you like. And the same goes when you stare at someone else. You're going to be seeing different versions of themselves that are currently living side by side, stacked on top of each other. The way that I like to think about it is imagine pieces of paper. These are Post-it notes. So how Post-it notes are all stacked on top of each other. What you're doing is you're turning it right side so you can see all of it in 2 dimensions. But you're beginning to look past the first layer, which is the physical layer of what we see. And then you peel that layer aside and you see the next face. Then you peel that one aside, you see the next face, because all of these layers are happening at the same time on this physical body that you're looking at in me. But there's different layers happening at the same exact time. So by maintaining your focus and awareness on one point with your eyes, you're giving that energy to that point of focus. And you're seeing past the veil. You're seeing different portions of their lives. Maybe portions of their lives that you may have lived with them. There's been many times where I've done this meditation and I've seen faces that I've never seen before in this lifetime, but I knew that I was either related to them or I knew them somehow, that particular face. It was a sense of like just knowing. So that's when you see different faces. And you can also see different alien faces, which is pretty neat. Sometimes I see like these really, it's like a hairy face, and they have really big eyes. Other times I see like reptilian faces. It's really interesting. As for when you close your eyes, the things that you see behind your eyes, be very mindful of the color that you see. You may see different colors, or the outline of the person that you're looking at, it'll be a different color, and that's their aura color. So based on that, you can go on Google, type in what that aura color means, and let that person know what you saw, so that they can see if that was true or not, what the aura color was. And more than likely it is. So that's for the colors that you may see. For the different animals that you may see animals when you close your eyes. Those animals represent what that other person is. So based on that animal, whatever you see, go on Google, type in the name of the animal, and then spirit animal or spirit guide, and then research that and see if that resonates with what they may be going through currently. And as for the shapes, there's many different ways to interpret shapes. So I would just recommend typing the name of the shape that you saw if you really want to look into that, and then typing spiritual meaning. So if you see a triangle, see what triangle spiritual meaning is. A lot of times too, your higher self will send information through symbols, and these are symbols for you to use. So if you see like a symbol when you have your eyes closed, after this particular meditation. Those symbols are particularly for you. So I would write them down and keep like a little book, a symbol book with yourself, so that anytime that you see a symbol, you write it down. And if you're a healer of some sort, those symbols more than likely are to be used for different healing sessions of some sort, and it's up to you to figure out how to use it and what to use it on. I've gotten many symbols in my own meditations, not just with this meditation, but with different ones. I'm not sure if some of you have seen my tattoo on my back. That is a symbol that has come to me in a meditation, and it was very powerful, and I've never seen that symbol anywhere on the internet. So and what my higher self told me what it is it resonates very much. So that's today's meditation. That's today's class. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you can continue practicing this I stare meditation with others, and allowing yourself to be vulnerable, allowing yourself to get past the laughter, the uncomfortability, and asking yourself, why is it that you're uncomfortable in the first place? So I'm going to conclude by saying the divine light within me honors and acknowledges the divine light within you. And I honor you in going further and further into your path of self-awareness, shining your light brightly, allowing others to then see that light so that they can shine it too. Because we are one. And when you grow, I grow. Thank you, and namaste.